Welcome to the third part of creating a blog in PHP. And in the first two parts, we have been able to create a register form as well as article adding form. So we can submit articles as well as we can submit users, which is basically the registration process. Also, we were able to create a login form and create sessions so that users can be logged in or logged out from the system. The next step is we have to make some improvements as well as to the article form, as well as we'll be dealing with updating records in the database from PHP and deleting records. So those two will be done at the end of this session, but first let us make some improvements. So if you remember, this is our database structure for categories and articles. So this is the table for articles. It has title, description, status, but for categories we have a separate table where we are storing all the categories. These are all the categories. But how to link an article to categories so that we can know which articles fall in which categories? For that we have a cat junction table, this one. So the purpose of this junction table is that this column cat ID means the category ID, and this is the article ID, which is 2. What this means is that the article with primary key 2 is in category 1, and the second row says article ID 14 is in category 6. So via this table, junction table, we can have more than one article in some category, and we can have one article in multiple categories. So for example, here 7, 8 and 10 are in one category and one category is sports. But similarly, if I want, let us go to the categories table. So one is sports. For example, I want some article to be both in sports as well as entertainment. So in that case, the same article will have two categories. To do that, for example, this article 14 is in this 2 number article is in one category, so I want it to be in another category as well. So I will re-enter 2 and the category ID, which is 3 is entertainment. So let us do it. It's the category ID is 3 and the article ID is, which one was it? 3? 2. Okay. So yes, 2 number article is in category 1 and 2 number article is in category 3. It means the same article is in two separate categories. Yes, the same article is in two separate categories. That's how we can deal the database part of this design. So now this is, I always say this to new PHP developers, you should know the database design which you have, and then you can base your PHP application on that. If you are not 100% sure of how your database is working, how it has been designed, then you can never build the PHP part of it. Okay, so let us demo. For example, if somebody adds a new article here, it falls in two categories. For example, if I come back to the categories, if it falls in either both the sports as well as entertainment, so what should we do? So let us first do that in the PHP admin or maybe in the MySQL prompt. I'll first add an article. So for example, cricket match between showbiz stars and PSL finalists of PSL champions, for example. Now you can see this article can be related to showbiz as well as to sports category. Okay, so this is the detail of description of this article. One thing, you should have the column type text for all the description or detailed text, because it can have a lot of text. But if you make it varchar 250 or 255, then only 250 characters will be allowed. That's why you should have it of the type text. Okay, then the status for now is 1 and submitted date is this and UID is 2. We will make it dynamic as well based on the person who is logged in. But for now I will submit the articles. Notice the ID we will be getting. This is very important in this stage. The ID of the article which is just submitted. So if I click on go, you can see the article now, the ID now is 15. I'll copy this and come to cat junction table here. Here I will add 2 rows to this table. What those rows will be? The first one will be 1 because it is sports category, and the newly added article ID is 15. So once this is entered, it means this article 15 is in sports category. The next is 3 and 15. Sorry, yes, 3 and 15. It means this article, the newly added article 15, is also in this 3 category, which is showbiz. Okay, so if I just enter these two values, 115, 315, meaning 15 number article is in one category, which is sports, 15 number is in third category, which is showbiz. And if I just add these two and if I browse it now, so these are the two values, 115 and 315. So this shows that these two this one article 15 is in these two categories. That's what we need to do from the PHP point of view as well. Same stuff. If we are not able to do something like this, it means we are not properly adding data to the database. So I will come to our application and add article. Okay, here we need to have an extra field, field where we can select all the categories. So what we can do is, I will come to the add article form. This is the form. And here we will add one more select menu. This is HTML right now. The label is going to be select category, and then we should have a select name is equal to categories or whatever, and then we should have option and value. So value is equal to, say, 3 or other 1, which is sports, and 2 is, or 3 is, for example, value 3 is, what's that, showbiz. And if I just open the form now, we have select category sports and showbiz, but these values are not dynamic. They are not coming from the database. I just have entered for 6 or 7 values. Maybe I just come here and just notice all the database values. These are just 7 values, so I can manually add all these, but maybe there are hundreds of categories. Then it becomes very hard to do this manually. So your feeling should be that these values should come from the database. So if that is the feeling and wish, we must have another query as well, which basically queries the categories type table.
Select all the values from category.
Yeah, and this one thing, this should not come inside the post, because this $_server request post is only when the form has been submitted. We need it initially as well once the page loads. So this should be outside the $_post array. So let us quickly query it, and we can just use the query PDO function as well to just get the values from the database. So let us quickly do it here, or maybe at the top of the page somewhere here, or let us do it here. Query db for select menu categories, and categories code ends here. Okay, so here we will write that query. So we already have PDO, as we have the connection. Are we including the connection? Yes, because this page gets added to the index.php, and there the connection already is. Okay, so PDO query select all from categories. That's it. Okay, the next is
Fetch all the data.
fetch all, and we want it to be fetched as
Associate.
assoc.
PDO.
Fetch underscore assoc, and it should be records.
Yes.
Right now, because we are fetching all the records, it should be we should be looping through all the values. If for example I just var dump record, so it will be and if we do it like echo pre so you can see we have an array of 6 values, and each value itself is an array. So we should have a for each loop on all these. Let us quickly comment this, but we won't be looping through over it here. Where should we loop? Inside this select, which we have hard coded for now. We should leave it as it is, but here, because we need to have all these values from the database, and we already have created the variable fetching the records. So here we'll use the PHP tag, and it should end here, and this is for each, and colon records as record, and here and for each, and what should this value be now? Record and the name of the column, cname. So it's going to be $record, and this key should be the column name. So let me just check if it is cname. cname. Let's hope all of this is working fine, and if I just refresh the page now, so we have select category and it is not working, maybe for some reason.
Eco.
Yeah, we are not it. That's good. Now we have all the categories coming from the database. If you add a new category and refresh the page, that will be here, because that's the dynamic nature of a PHP based or any server-side language which is connected with the database. So now we need to have the first one as empty, so we can have it outside the loop. So here option, please select category, and the option is the value is going to be empty. Now we will have just one at the top, please select categories, and then we should be selecting these values. So this one is outside the, even for those who are still not very good in loops, looking at this code you can basically reverse engineer your code as well. The first one is outside the loop because we need it to be hard coded, and all of the other ones are inside the loop, looping through the database values. Okay, but we need to have, for example, for that last example, we need to select sports as well as entertainment. Right now we can only select sports. So what change we can do so that we can select multiple values? Multiple. So we can add this multiple attribute to the select, and then now we can have multiple selections like this. So for example, I want some article to be in the sports and entertainment, so with control on Mac you can choose these two. Okay, this was the first step. Now if we submit the article, and this field name is categories.
The values should also be dynamic.
Yes, so if I submit the article, all the code has to be here, right? So we have title, description, status, and after status, say if we now have categories also, and this is post categories if it is set, and if the categories is empty means nothing is selected. So we should have, please select at least one category.
The select value should also be dynamic.
So it's set post categories, and post is this. Now this will be categories, but we need to do things differently here. Right now I will just dump this value for debugging purposes. For example, I just want to print this the values in categories variable. So I will say var underscore dump and $sign categories. Okay, and maybe some pre-echoing as well. Okay, I don't want any other code because I just right now want to see the values of the categories variable. I don't want to run any code afterwards. So what I can do, I can call a die function. So die function will just close the program here. It won't proceed after the die. So for now I just want to var dump the categories values. So for example, this, and I select two values, sports and entertainment, and this one, and just submit the article. So it shows 1. Now we have selected 4 and it still is 1. Why?
Sir, actually we given as a manual value 1. Sir, we supposed to select code.
Hard coded value of 1
Where?
inside the select.
Inside the form,
This?
which is 0.
Oh, you are right.
Sir, I have already mentioned.
So it will be,
It will come from the table.
it should be also database. And
Records are CID.
CID. Thank you. Okay,
Echo.
let us try. We have to make one adjustment already. So if I select the first 3 and submit the article,
So you C underscore identity.
Sir, change the CID. You will see.
let me just check the database table name is CID. So the code should be echo. If you select these 3, why is it just taking one value? Because what we can do is, because it's a multiple value field, we should name the categories as an array like this. Okay, the categories should be, because it is now multiple, the select menu should be named categories. This should be, this is HTML, okay, just these 2 brackets. So now if I resubmit the form with these 3 values selected, sports, showbiz and entertainment, and published, now you can see within the same variable we have 3 values, 1, 2 and 3 selected. So once you have multiple, the name of the select menu should be an array as well. The array bracket should be there. Okay, so what do you basically conclude from this? That now this value which we are var dumping and then dying afterwards, this one, it actually is an array. Okay,
Yes, sir.
it actually is an array and it can have one or more than one
More than
values.
one values.
Okay, so even here if post categories is equal to this, we can say if count is used for array.
Yes.
So if count this, if count of post is equal to 0, what does this mean? That no value has been selected. So please select at least one category, otherwise the categories will be this category, and now this category is actually an array,
Yes, sir.
and we will leave it as it is for now. And we can also use empty for array, so we can, there are a lot of ways of doing this logic. So now categories is an array. So once the article is inserted, this last insert ID is very important. If you remember, we were redirecting to the index page
Yes, sir.
by this and taking this to the that page, thank you page. So now we should have this last insert ID as well. And before going to this, if you remember, I had told you from here, first we needed to add article, then take the last ID. So here we will get that last ID from here already once the article is inserted, and then we should be adding, for example, if 3 items are categories are selected, we should be adding that number of categories and that last ID. So in this example, if a while ago I added 1 and 15 and 3 and 15, this means that 15 ID is in 2 categories.
Yes, sir.
So once we get the last insert ID for the articles page, what we need to do? We should check if categories size is greater than 0. What does this mean?
Yes, sir.
That one category has been chosen at least.
Yes, sir.
So if
Count.
like this, if
Count
count
is greater than
categories,
category is greater than 0.
is it categories?
Yes, sir,
Yes.
categories.
If count categories is greater than 0 means
Yes, sir.
at least one category has been chosen
Yes,
by
sir.
the user. Then do something,
Yes.
and what that do will be
Insert
to insert
the data into a junction table.
into a junction table. So we will use PDO prepare insert into cat junction. The table is cat junction. CID CNAME, okay, because we don't need to have auto increment value. Values
So C name is AID, CID and
cat ID and article ID.
Article ID, yes, sir.
Cat ID and article ID. Cat ID and article ID. Values, which values?
Yes, sir. Placeholders.
Like this, okay. So the values will be placeholders. Cat ID is cat ID and comma. It can be anything, but it's a good practice to have it exactly as a column name. So article ID. Values cat ID and article ID. Then we will create a params array, and it should have two values. The first one is CID, this one cat ID,
colon C cat ID.
and this should be what?
It should be last in the category.
It should be category ID,
Yes, sir.
but all this should be inside the categories for each loop, because we are looping through it.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Okay, so let us quickly use that variable here, maybe $cat ID for now. And what should be the article ID?
That is the last insert ID. Last ID.
Good, last insert ID. $sign last
ID.
insert ID, whatever is the last insert ID. But all of this should be inside the for each for the categories, because it is an array now. So for each categories as cat ID, like this, and we will move all this code into the for each loop. So even if 10 categories have been selected for this loop will run 10 number of times,
10 times.
and inside the loop there will be 10 insert categories. So this is that cat ID which we were referring here, and that's it.
Then execute.
And we will have to execute it as well. So execute, and here we will be passing the params array. That's it. Let's try if it is working fine now. Okay, so if
It will be inside the for each loop or not? The execute.
probably because each time it will have to be executed.
But it is outside the for each.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Okay. So first time, if it encounters a value in the categories, it will insert that into the, and then second time, third time, and so on. Okay, so let us try this, or maybe cricket match between Showbiz and IPL stars, and this is going to be here. It should be sports and entertainment, sorry, sports and showbiz, maybe even in entertainment. So let us have all these three categories selected, and say if there is a food stall also, so maybe we can select that as well. So these are now 4 categories, and the article should be published and submit article. Thank you very much. Your article has been submitted. Here is the link to the article. We already have done that. So if I now go to articles, we hopefully will have cricket match between Showbiz and IPL stars. Now we need to know which category has this been submitted into. So where we should go? To CAT junction, and the ID of this article is 16. And in CAT junction, you can see there are 4 entries of 16 against all the category IDs. So what does this mean? That this article 16 is now in these 4 categories.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Yes.
So whatever you do from the database side, you should know that process, in which tables I should be adding data, from where I will be taking the last insert IDs and taking an account. The same you will have to repeat in PHP then. The next step is and we can go to the article from here. We already have created. Now if I am on an article, this is the article page, article.php is equal to 16. I need to show these 2 values, all the categories of this article, all the categories of this article, and we are showing this article on this page because in the URL we have ID is equal to 16, meaning that we have this article 16 on this page. So again, first you will have to create a system, or at least practice the system in PHP MyAdmin or MySQL prompt, and then you will take that to the PHP page. So here, for example, I need to show articles. I need to show all those articles which or maybe the categories within article. Okay. So if we are in the CAT junction table, and this shows us the IDs of the CAT ID shows us the category of the article, and article ID means these are the articles, and the total number of records is 12 records. So we can directly query from this table. And remember the concept of joins. So these are just IDs. The CAT ID is an ID. These are foreign keys, and article ID is in a foreign key as well. So let us query this table so that we can get the category name as well as the article title. Okay. So how can we do this? Select all from CAT junction. This is our main table now here. And then, as I had said to you, which table, which column. So if I encounter this CAT ID, which table's primary key is this? Categories. So which table, which column? This is that concept you should have. So which table means left join which table? Categories. On which column? So on this table is CAT ID. The column in this table is CAT ID. So CAT junction dot cat id equals which table. So in categories, if I open the categories table in new tab, so here it is CID, so it is categories dot CID is equal to categories dot CID. What does this join mean now? Left join categories, concept table, which table, and then which column. So you have to then specify that these are the two columns. This column name in this table and this in that, these are equal actually. So now we have connection to the categories table. We have connection, or we have the join to the categories table. What does this mean? We can now access any field relevant to this column in from the category. So it is CNAME. We can now select the CNAME column. So if I just say categories dot CNAME, what does this mean? Now because I have access to the categories table now, because of the join, I can access that column now, but it will be accessed in accordance to these values. Okay, remember this. So whatever is 1, it will now be showing the name. The next thing is, this is done. Now the next column, which is article. So again the same principle, which table, which column. So left join again, which table, because this is related to the articles. So left join articles on which table column. So this table, it is article ID, so it will become cat junction dot article ID equals to, if I open the articles table now, so it is AID. In articles it is AID. So here we will have articles dot AID. So we have made a join now to the articles page as well, table as well. What does this mean? Now we can select any column from the articles page also, table also. So here if I come to the articles table, it is title, description, and all these. So I will just for now select title, for example. So categories dot CNAME, comma, articles dot title. That's it. And these are separate columns in the tables, but because we have made joins, we can now access these columns, and these columns will be accessed in accordance with these values. I mean, if 2, the first one 2 will be the 2 number title, the 1 will be the 1 number category. So if I click on go, so that's it. The first one is sports, hockey match, second one is this, and these all this. And one thing, if you want to know that the join you have created is exactly what you were intending to be, so if these are total 12 records, so if the number of records in the junction table or any table, base table, is equal to the one you are getting in the query, it means it is working fine. Otherwise there may be errors. For example, if I just omit something from here without a join, that is known as Cartesian product. You can check that in Google, Cartesian product. If the join is not okay, maybe you have a lot of records. Okay, so what do you get from this? If I run the query again, this shows us all the categories of the these articles. So this shows cricket match between showbiz and IPL stars falls in sports, showbiz, entertainment, and food. Right? Now, if I need to check just one record, one article, what can I do? I mean, for just one article, I want to run this query because this is showing me all the articles.
We can pass the ID, sir. We are AID.
We are AID.
Yes, sir.
Good. So it did, because we have now access to the articles table, so we can easily say where articles dot AID equals say 16, the one we recently added.
Yes, sir.
So 16 means now these are titles. They have 4 rows because the database design is like this, but at least you can see that we are getting all the 4 categories of this article ID 16, right? So that's the thing we need to do as well. We need to show we can copy this whole query and go to the article page now. Articles, here we are showing this page is articles.php id is equal to 16. So the code for this page is this articles.php. Here if you remember, we are select all from article, select all from articles, and all the records are being shown on the articles page. But for if the id is there in the URL, the $ id is in the URL, then for that we are using this query at the bottom of the page. If this id is there, so article underscore id is in this variable, and then we are querying it through this. And now you know about prepare statements.
Yes.
So we can just change this query to prepare statements. Prepare, select all from articles where id is equal to this, and we will just paste that query from the PHP admin we created now, like this. So PDO, select categories.cname, articles.title. This is the same query we made in the PHP admin interface. And just the last one, where article.aid is equal to 16, we will change it to placeholder, article ID or something like this. Okay, where AID is equal to article ID. The next step is category from this junction. Okay. The next step is to execute. And here we can directly pass the column article ID and what it is, this article ID. We should have ID if statement here as well. If it is set, then it should be in article ID. Okay. Okay. And the next step is to query fetch a source. And let us, we don't have description here, so what we can do, articles dot description, so we can get the description also. Let us see if this page still works fine.
Fetch all.
It is probably working fine, right? So fetch all. Okay, so if it is all, what does this mean? This is because it has 4 values right now. If you can just check, it has 4 values because it has 4 categories, so each article is and this is normal SQL, okay, each article is getting repeated with it,
Yes, sir.
but we have to show the article once only
Yes, sir.
and the categories as comma separated values,
Yes, sir.
as comma separated values. So what we can do, we should loop actually. The record now is an associative array of arrays. So what if we just, for some logic, for each
So zoom it in.
okay, for each records, let us make it records. Okay, for each records as record, and outside the loop let us create an array of cats, which is categories actually, okay.
Yes, sir.
So for each records as record cats equal to record the name of category, so that is
CNAME.
CNAME. What does this mean? What are we doing actually?
Sir, we are getting all the category name and storing it inside an array.
Very good, because we have to show the categories, all the categories, but the titles only once.
Yes, sir.
So records as record cats this, and now this array has all the values of the categories we have. This has all the values of the categories we have. And print, I want to show this but only once. So because title is the same for each row, we can use 0 here. 0 like this. So what does this mean? The first one, because this one and this one and this one for a title is the same, so we can only use the first row 0 for all of these. But here we have saved all of these into an array.
Yes, sir.
The categories have been saved into an array. So if you remember, explode function and implode function, these are two very famous PHP functions for arrays, implode and explode. So what implode does is, you have an array, for example hello world beautiful day, and we implode it and it converts it into a string,
String, yes, sir. Convert array into string.
converts array into string,
Yes, sir.
and you pass some separators also here.
Yes, sir.
So for example, if I use implode,
Just like joins.
yeah exactly, so implode comma and the name of the function, which is cats, okay. So now it will print this array as comma separated values, okay. So I will just print it here after the this div, print this implode cats. So what does what will it do? It will convert the array into comma separated values and separate it by this comma. Let us try if it is working fine. So you can see cricket match between showbiz and this, and these are all the categories: sports, showbiz, entertainment and food. So we can just have some text with it. Print h3 PH3, this article falls in these categories. This article falls in these categories. These are the categories, right? So the system which we wanted to design has been implemented. Now we can select more than one category for articles, and in the database that is saved in the CRUD junction table, and then we are on the simple article show page, we are showing that all those categories as well. Is this clear? There is one more thing which we need to do, and that is these actually are not clickable. How can we make these links clickable? And they should be going to a separate page where, for example, if sports is clicked, all the articles which are in the sports category will show up. If showbiz is clicked, all the articles which are in the showbiz category, they will show up. So we need to make these links actually, and before this making them as links, how can we do? For example, how can I select all the articles which are in sports category, for example, from PHP My Admin?
Sir, with the sports category ID.
Yeah, so if we go to the CRUD junction table, this table actually will give us the information. So the first one is
category ID is equal to 1.
1. So here, for example, SQL, select all from this where cat ID is equal to 1 and go, because 1 is the sports category. So now you can see all the category ID is 1 and the articles are these 2, 7, 8, 10, 5 and 16. Got it? So the same query we will have on that page where this link will go to. So for example, if I click on sports here, it will go to category article.php question mark this ID. So there we will run this some query like this with a join to the articles table, and we will be showing title description in a loop. So how many of them will be here there on that page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 articles which are in sports category, and we already have the join for that query here. So let us not repeat it. Where is this one? We'll just copy this category, this SQL on that page. I'll just quickly copy all this code. And we will create a new page. We will call it articles in category .php, so you can know what we want. Articles in category .php. Okay, so articles in category .php, we will have a query. Article ID is, sorry, this will be category ID, so we will make it cat ID, or maybe just cat ID. Okay, cat ID, and we already have this category name, article this from junction left join categories, this left join this articles on. At the end we will have where cat
Cat ID.
where cat junction
Cat junction dot cat ID is equal.
cat junction dot cat ID is equal to
1.
where cat junction, where cat junction dot cat id equals to cat id, whatever we are getting from the URL, this, and always enclose this in if statement. If it is set, then it will be cat id. Okay, if is set, dollar sign
$underscore get cat ID.
dollar sign underscore get cat id, and then it will be like this, cat id is equal to this. Also there should be another one for security purposes, which is int, or is number, something like this. This is a function, is number. PHP is numeric. PHP is numeric function. Okay, so if the and is underscore numeric dollar sign this. So if somebody adds get cat id xyz, that is not numeric then.
Yes, sir.
So it will not be working. So if the number, the id is some number actually,
Yes, sir.
so the cat id is cat id. Else we can make something else like header redirect or this, but for now we will just echo this article is not found, and then we will die. Let us try if it is working, but for now cat id is equal to whatever is the this cat id. Okay, and PDO category is equal to cat id. Now the next step is to cat id. This is going to be cat id. Execute, and then we will have fetch all. So query fetch all, PDO : fetch a source, and this will return records. And now if the value of records is greater than 1,
Yes, sir.
mean there are records, we will be outputting that. So
Count record is
if
count
$sign records is greater than 0, means there are records.
greater than or equal 0 is outside the brackets.
Yeah, is greater than 0, then what it will do is we will do something, or if else we will have something else, print no record found, something like this.
Print, sir.
Echo or print, whatever. In Drupal it is normally print, so we use print no records found. So if the records is greater than 0, we should output a div then concatenate it with records title.
So we have to loop through.
You loop through it, should be this.
Yes.
So for each $sign records as record, and then we will have this code here, title, and close the div like this, and then another div, and maybe let us add some class of some text dash for Excel. And this is Talent class, right? Why is it showing some error?
It is fine.
Okay, then we have to have the description also, but or maybe for now the titles are fine if things are working fine. Okay, so if I come to articles in category.php page,
So we have to link that.
so if I come to
First we have to create links.
which links,
Sports, showbiz, entertainment, and food.
yeah, but we'll just test it for now in the browser. Okay, so if I come directly to this page, articles in categories.php, articles in category.php. in category.php, so the article is not found, but if it is having some cat id is equal to, say, what was the category id for sports one?
Sir, one.
Okay, we are not including database connection here, so better, as this page will be included in index.php, already we have a connection there, so let us do it another way. How it is going to be? Index.php
Page is equal to.
question mark page is equal to
Remove the PHP at the last.
is equal to this, and cat is equal to, if there are more than two parameters, so we divide it with ampersand. So ampersand cat id is equal to 1. So how can I, this is article on this, so all the articles are being shown here.
Yes, sir.
Which category? It
Sports.
now depends upon the two. So what it is going to be, for example, if I go to all the categories, if I go to, say, food, the sixth one, so if I just change the URL cat id to 6, so it is now food competition Islamabad and cricket match between showbiz and IPL stars. So now it is only showing me whatever category is in the get id.
Yes.
Now the system is, we already have this URL, but this is not the way out. Okay, what we can do is, we need this URL, Ctrl C, so that if I go to any article, for example, so it shows us these two links wherever it, and if it is clicked, if this sports is clicked, it should go to that page which we have just created. So here we need to have those URLs, so let us do that. If I come to articles.php again, and if you remember, we just created these implode functions categories, where the categories are being output, but rather than adding the names of the, here this is the name, okay, rather than adding the name, we can make it as an ahref links. So I will do it like this: cats, this is equal to a href, I will enclose it in quotes, but for now a href equals this and closing a like this. This is going to be, and the URL is going to be this: index.php page is equal to articles in category which we just created, and the category ID is equal to this is that dynamic value. It will be a dynamic value of the category, but we in the query we are not choosing categories.cname, so we can quickly get categories.cid so that we can use it here. Okay, this one will be dynamic. So just like record cname, now we will have to make it here inside the a tags, and the cid will be here. Now we will set up the concatenation. So let us do it with this. You can up to here, then the concatenation ID, concatenation operator, then again the concatenation operator, then again like this, dot this and this, and semicolon. Now what is happening? We are looping through all the records of the categories, and we have created an empty array. Rather than doing this, saving just the names, what we can do?
Making a links.
We are making links.
Yes.
Okay. So now each category will have a link, and if I refresh the page, if things are fine, at line 1 dot title. Okay, we have some problem in the, we are not adding any comma after the this. You can see these are now links.
Yes.
The sports and entertainment are links now, and if I click on sports, it is taking me to that page which we just created. Earlier we were adding these values ourselves, but now they are being added automatically. So these links are now dynamic: sports and entertainment. And if I just check the markup, they are being separated by the comma. So we can have some other logic also looping through it, creating UL order list or whatever. It all depends upon your logic. Welcome after the break. So now we are able to submit articles with categories, and in fact multiple categories. So if an article falls in, say, more than one category, we are able to achieve that, and all those more than one categories data is being sent to the cat junction table, which we already have explained. Now if you come to the articles page, so you can see for most of the articles the UID is 2, because we have hard coded 2 in our code for articles. As we already have set up the login system, now whichever user logs in, the ID of and his or she submits an article, his or her ID should be here, not just 2. So if we go to the code, where we are inserting the articles, so you can see we have hard coded the UID but we are not going to hard code it anymore. And you can see if is logged in, we are using this function to access add article page. Right now if I try to add to access add article page and I am not logged in, I won't be able to access it. Because right now I am logged in, that's why I'm able to access it. But if I log out, and I try to access add article again, so I am being redirected to the login page. So once I log in, then I will be able to access the add article page. So at least we are covering that with this code. We are being redirected to the login page so that only logged in users can access it. But if I go to the login page, here we already have done this code. You can refer back to the login session, but you can see we are setting UID as well from whatever record we get from the database for the UID. So whatever is the user who logs in, we are grabbing his UID via this, because we are fetching the whole record here. Select all from users where email is equal to email. So we have the record for UID also. If I go to the UID table, users table, so this is the UID 1 and 2. Okay, so for example, if a user has registered his, the next user will be 3 and so on. So if that user signs in, we need to have that ID here, and we are storing that ID in the UID for the sessions. So if I go to add article now, and here we are going to use $_ session and UID. Okay, and it should also be like this. If it is set up, then you should be using it, otherwise null. Okay, so what is the null collection operator? Double question mark. So if it is set up, it will be this, otherwise null. Null or 0, whatever you can have it. Okay, but right now if it is set up, it will be that user. So probably this is the only change we need to make in this code for add article. Now let us register a new user on our site. It will be index.php page is equal to register. So this is the registration form. I will make it say Shahab, username is Shahab, and email is shahab@drupal.com, password is 123456, and register. So thank you very much, we are registered. If I come to the database and browse it, so Shahab's UID is 3. Okay, now he needs to log in as well. So I will go to the login page, or maybe directly. We will have all these errors cleared up once we have done all the CRUD and the basic things. I have left it to the QA process. Okay, so just don't go through all these errors we are getting at the moment. We are focusing on the main elements of the site application, and once we are done with those, we will fix all these at the end. Okay, now I go to login.php, and here Shahab at drupal.com and 123456, and I log in. Once I log in, Shahab at, and password is 123456, and welcome Shahab. Now Shahab has logged in. Okay, so it means we can now access the add article page. So it will be index.php add article, and this is article by Shahab. Okay, this is Shahab's article, whatever, and we have two categories, select two categories, published and submit. Thank you very much, your article has been submitted. Okay, now the thing is, if you go to the database, so what are you expecting in the articles table? URD3. Now it is all dynamic. Whosoever logs into the system and submits an article, only his ID will be there, not the hard-coded 2. Got it? That's how you have got to do so. Even we can practice it after the class. My system can be accessed by your applications. You can register, submit articles, and all of you will have your own IDs there in the articles table. Got it? Okay. Next, we haven't yet touched updating records in, because if you have heard of CRUD, CRUD, so create, read is selection, update is update, and deletion is deletion. So in any database driven application, CRUD is what you have to learn initially. So we are missing the U part and D part. We have already done create, means we are inserting records into database table, and reading as well, we are making selections, select queries. So CRUD UD is missing, so we will be doing U and D today for the rest of this session. So let us recap. For example, this is a category, and I want to, it has already been spelled incorrectly, the sports category. I want to update this sports. So what I can do is, I will go to SQL, and here I will write the query update what table. So the table name is categories, set what the name of the column. So for example, here the name of the column is CNAME. I need to make CNAME something else. Okay, so here update category, set CNAME is equal to what, it's a text or string, so sports, right? But if I just enter or run the query now, what will happen?
The CNAME will be sports.
Because it is very very important, even with if you are not experienced enough in update queries, what you need to do is, you must first write where ID is equal to, so what is the ID of sports? 1. So if you don't issue this where condition in the update queries in databases, all the records will be updated, and this is very dangerous sort of query as well. So you must have this where condition. Now what happens is, updates categories, set CNAME is equal to sports, where ID is equal to 1. So if we just run it, where CID is equal to 1. Okay, so it says one row affected, means one row has been affected, has been updated. Okay, and if you come to the categories now, so the spelling mistake has been corrected, right? So again you can see we need IDs are very important. Okay, for update queries you need to have an ID where you need to change that particular record. Okay, where we need to change that particular, for example in articles, if I come here and I need to change this, or maybe if we have two similar stuff, let us change this for now for demo purpose. Okay, now we have two articles. This is PHP my admin interface. You don't need to mix it up with the real SQL queries. Now we have two articles with, this is third article, this is third article. Okay, so why am I saying that IDs are important? For example, I need to change this one, this is third article, and I want to make it say fourth article. This is fourth article. I want to change this to fourth article. So what I can do is, if I go to SQL query, update articles, set title is equal to, this is fourth article. Okay, set title, but where title is equal to, your title is equal to this. So now we have two articles. Okay, we have two articles in which the title is, this is third article. Do you agree?
Yes.
Because I changed it a while ago. So how many articles will be affected with this? Two, because in where condition we are using the title one. So I am changing the title to fourth article, but in the where condition I am using some other column rather than the ID column. ID is unique, title is not unique. So how many rows will be affected?
So
Two.
change the select to update.
Yeah, sorry. Do we have a table with it? Okay. Update article, set title is equal to this, where title is equal to this. So now if I just click on go, it says two rows affected. Why? I had to change one, but it has to, because the where condition was based on title, and title is not unique. If it had been unique, then it would have been okay. But since it is not unique, so two articles have been changed, and if I go to the articles now, you can see both of them are now changed. So that's why the update must be done via the primary key, which is the ID. Okay, so it will only change one record. Primary key is just unique. This is the rule. Okay, let us have, and the rest will be your assignment. For articles update, that will be your assignment, but we already have registration. Okay, and somebody needs to change password and needs to change his full name, his name. Okay, so we have the registration form. This is the registration form, but so we will make copy, rather let us just quickly create new form. It is edit dash register dot php. The page name is edit dash register dot php. You can name it anything. Okay, so it is going to be a PHP page just like all other pages. So if somebody who is logged in, just logged in users will have to change their credentials. So if somebody accesses, say, index.php question mark edit dash register dot php. So here page is equal to, sorry, okay, this is the page. It's all blank, that's why you are not able to see anything in it. So here, once the user is logged in, we need to have a form just like the register form.
Yes.
Okay, so that a user can change name and password and all that, right? So we just need to have a form where the user can, and if for example we had to change an article, okay, title or something, so it will be edit dash article page. So there we can edit some article, but that would be based on the ID. but here we will use the logged in user's ID. So again the ID is there,
Yes.
but in articles sense it will be, we will be getting it from the get parameter. But for security purposes we don't need to show ID in for registered users. In the, we can do that there as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we will be using session ID, okay? But right now we need to have a form. So let us quickly copy the registered form we already have. This is the registration form. And it is edit dash register. Here we have this form now. And the action should be edit dash register .php, and the name is one more thing we must show. Right now it will have errors, okay? If I just refresh the page, dash register, so it has these notices because the variables are not defined. But what information should be shown here?
New password.
Hmm?
Forget.
What you should have the logged in user's username,
Yes.
name, and email here. Password should be empty.
Yes.
So we need to query it now. And in article sense, you will have the question mark ID is equal to something article. Okay, so then you will have to query that article's
Yes.
details and show those in the inside this form. So right now, if I am logged in, so at the top of the page we will start session underscore start. Write this, okay? But we already are including it inside the index page, so maybe we don't need it. If we had to access it, then we have the session ID now. We just demonstrated it.
Yes, sir, we have.
So what the ID is, or user ID, user underscore ID is equal to $ underscore session UID. Good. So if the session has this UID, the user ID will be that.
Yes.
Otherwise, null or empty, whatever. Got it? Okay. Now we need to query the database for this.
Yes, sir.
So PD query equals PDO prepare select all from user where ID is equal to colon ID, like this, and ID is the colon ID is the placeholder. The next is we need to execute it. Execute, and we will need to pass the array of placeholders. So that is going to be colon ID is greater than fat arrow. So what it is going to be? This $ user ID. This. So if all things are fine, this will query the user
Yes, sir.
from the database. Okay. The next is, this is going to be a record. Rather, now we need to issue fetch. And one is fine because we know it will be, if the querying is via
Only
single record will be fetched. So, and fetch a source. And it should be a record, and the record is going to be an array, right? Now if the record is the size of record is more than 1, whatever, so we can easily do if count record is greater than 0. What does this mean? That we have now one record, and you can use the PDO row count as well. So here we will set up these variables. Name is equal to record, and what is the username there, column name there in the table. We come to users, so you name, username and email. Okay, so it's name,
Change the table name also, that is users. So the column UI.
good. Okay, so the name is record name and email equals record email, and username is record username. Is this okay now? Name, email and username. Name, username and email. The order doesn't matter. So if I refresh that login page now, we had errors here, but if I just refresh it, hopefully we have Shahab, because Shahab is logged in, right? So we are now getting all the values from the database. In this case, because we don't need to show the user ID in the URL, so we can take the user ID from sessions. But if you are editing the article page, article form, you should have a question mark, article ID is equal to something. So whatever is the ID in the get parameter, you should be showing that in the form, right? That article should be updated. Okay, this was the first step. The next step is we should be, if I just click on the register, and this should not be registered first. What should it be? Update, so that user knows that we are going to update the record, not the this. Okay, here if I now refresh the page, so this is now update record. But what do you conclude from this? Now if I submit the form, this is all post, so we can grab all the values just like insert queries. Okay, so if I just click on the update, we can have all these values in the post. We can have all these values in the post. Okay, so here let us quickly copy the if condition so that we can save some time. And the save is if server request method is equal to post, it means the button has been clicked. Edit register, where it is. Okay, so if the form has been submitted, it means the update button has been clicked. Okay, so again I will quickly copy all the values from there. If is set post, email, name, this is going to be all the same like we used to have in the register. We are not going to go through all this again. And if I come to edit, we'll paste it here. So this is just the same we did in the register. If the is set post name, and then if the name is empty, if for example somebody changes it to, for example, he removes it and I submit it, so it will get this into the errors array. Okay, so this is just that code we have done already. Then the username, if it is left empty, so we will say please enter username, and similar email, if it is left empty, and email is equal to this. The next is password. So one thing, we are not showing the password here because we are getting the value from the database but not showing the password should be not in the form.
In the field, yes.
But if we need to change it, so then we can grab it. So here again, if we set password, we are not going to change anything, just it has an extra line of password hash so that the new passwords hash also gets saved in the database. So we are not going to change anything here as well. And in the code we will just be pasting that. Now we have all the values, and the next is we will make update false, this is insert false, and if the errors are empty,
Yes.
so we can copy these 2-3 lines and change them as well. Okay, and we will make it update false, and if count errors is equal to, it means that if the errors is empty, then we will make the update as true. So here update,
Errors, error.
yeah, it should be at the top of the page. Okay, so let us assume if the errors there are no errors, so then we will be updating the record. So just simple, like the initial query, we'll be using the prepare statement for update. So let's do it. PDO prepare, so update table name is users set, this is set, let us first do all, set name is equal to colon name, comma, username is equal to colon username. Normally people don't let to change emails in your registration. For example, if you have registered with a specific email, so that always remains the same. So we are not going to entertain the email changes, right? But the rest of the things can be changed. Even there are instances where you cannot use usernames also. So but we are letting people change the username. Okay, and then the password is equal to colon password. Okay, do you think this is fine if I run it for some reasons? It will change the whole table like this. So we do need to have the where. So let's user set name is equal to this, username is equal to this, password is equal to this, where UID is equal to colon UID. That's it. Now we need to, or maybe let us quickly create the params array. So the name is going to be $sign name. We already have set up the name here. Okay, then the username is and password is and then the ID is it UID? Okay. And where is this? Is the user ID? Okay. Okay, so the update query, just like we did in the PHP interface a while ago, and then these values. So the next step is so query execute, and here we will pass the params array. That's it. And we can even have it in the if statement too, because this is updating, so it will return us if it is true. So we can have something like the records have been updated. So let us try if things are working fine now. I'll just, so for example, Shahab is going to change his name to Shahab Khan. That's it. And he is going to have the password as ABC123. Okay, and update. Okay, we need to have connection set up, but if we just change the action to index.php (page is equal to this), so we don't need to get the connection in because we already have it inside the index.php. And page is equal to, we should not have this. Yes. Okay. Index.php page is equal to edit dash register. Okay, so if I change it to Khan and the password to ABC123 and update, so the page has been, you saw the some processing going on. If you come to the database, so you can see now the name is Shahab Khan. The record has been updated. If I change the username to Shahab Mardan, and I'm not letting the email to change, so better let us just even hide the email field. You should not have it on the form, but that's up to you. And the password is, say again I am changing password to 123456 and update. So now the record has been updated and the username will be Shahab Mardan. That's even the password got changed, if you can see, right? So that's how you run the update queries. The edit records, any record can be edited like this. The only difference is for users, where you have, if you have the ID in the session, you can get the ID from there. And if it is going to be an article, let us just change the title and description of the some articles. The rest will be it will be your assignment. So if I create a new form for edit dash article.php, and it is going to be just normal PHP file. Again, I need to have the add article form here. So I will quickly copy the form. And we'll come to the edit article page. Okay, I will just, for now, because the rest is your assignment, we will just have the title and description only. This is the title field and this is the description field, and again we are outputting the titles here, description here, right? So right now if I just access the page, edit dash article, it will have errors or notices inside. It will have the title and the description, but right now because we are not setting it up, these notices are there. So let us quickly get these notices fixed. The easiest way is to just declare these variables. Title is equal to empty, and the description is going to be empty as well. So this is the description. Now if I refresh the page, so hopefully there won't be any errors. But in real world, these are going to be having some articles values, and if we assign a variable called AID, it will be whatever is in the get parameter, right? So maybe AID if it is in the URL, otherwise it will be null, like this. So if the page has a get parameter AID, that will be articles ID. Then we quickly need to select query is fine, or maybe prepare, because it is getting it from the query parameter. So PDO prepare select all from articles where AID equals, or ID what is equal to colon AID. Let us check what it is in the articles table. So AID, say AID, okay. Then we need to query a statement or whatever, and we need to execute it, and it will be passed an array of the placeholders. So colon AID, and this is going to be this AID.
Inside the array brackets.
Sorry. Okay. The next thing is we need to fetch this record as an associative array. So record equals query just fetch and PDO colon assoc, and that's it. Now it will have a record, so we should if the size of it is more than 1, it means it has a record. So if count, and we can use the row count as well. So count record is greater than 0, here we will specify these we will override these variables. So title is equal to record, whatever is the column name in the database, and description is equal to record so if I just refresh the page, what do you expect?
It will have title and description.
But of it, right now it will have nothing, rather some errors, because there is no ID in the query parameter. So if it had been a single page, we should have just used the question mark, but we already have a query parameter of page, so we will use ampersand and AID is equal to say 16, not 16 but 6, and
Empty, the sixth one is empty.
7. If it is 8, so this is the 8, this is hockey image and this is the description. So now whatever is in the URL of the page, that article will be fetched and populated with the form values. So for example, the 16 one is this cricket match between Showbiz and IPL stars. So now let us just change it to updated. For example, I changed the title to updated and then the rest of it is fine, and then updated here as well. And if I submit the article, it should be update the article. The database record will be changed. So we have done just the one part. Let us change this to update article also. We are fetching the values based on the URL parameter here and showing those values inside the form values. But if any of the record is changed, then we will, let us now, this is update article. This is the second step, is it will be inside the post. The server request is equal to post, and then we will grab these values just like any insert queries, but the query will be update just like we did in the users table. So one thing, once we submit the article, we should have this 16 still in the post array, but I will just demo why it is not there. So input type is equal to submit, value is equal to update article. Let us quickly copy it from the edit register we created. If is set post, or we could have copied it from add article also. So let us do it from add article. If server request post is equal to post, so this is the title and this is the description. Let us copy this to edit records, edit article here, and we will enclose the if statement. Okay, so if the form is submitted, this means if the form is submitted, the method will be post. Okay, so title is this and we are saving it in the variable, and the description is this. That's it. The next step is to run the query, to run the update query. One thing we should be very we should get into the details. If these values have been changed, then we will update the record. Otherwise we should not be updating the record if the values have not been changed. But for now, let us just keep it simple. So again, video, prepare, update, which table? Articles. Set title is equal to colon title, and description is equal to colon description. And it should have a query returned. Okay, then we need to pass these two values as well. Query execute, and it will have an array. The array should have two placeholders. One is title, $sign title, Yeah, thank you. Let us just quickly fix this description. Okay, so here where condition we must be using, otherwise all the records in the table will be changed. So where AID equals colon AID, and we need to have that AID also here. $sign AID. Where are we setting it up? Here. If the URL has this, so we are setting it into AID, otherwise null. So now we are ready to go, and you can just check if it is true, then you can redirect to some other page, but for now let us quickly check if things are fine. So we are on the 16th, so create match between this and that. We'll change it to update it just to check if things are working fine. Similarly, in the description we should have updated description and update article. But there has one problem. Let us quickly just try this if things are fine, otherwise we'll then update it. Okay, so if I click on update article,
So the action of how?
yes, so the action is this, so it will be edit dash article. Okay, but there is one thing we need to set as well, and that is we should have the same ID which we are sitting here going along the action, otherwise this ID will not be available there on the server in the post request. Okay, in the post request. So what we can do is question mark ampersand, and here we can use the $sign AID. But since this is PHP, so we need to open tags echo question mark this. Why we are doing it? So that the action, the form action, should have the same ID which is of the coming in the article initially. If you are not doing it, then there won't be any ID in the action. So if now we submit the form, let us refresh the page, so that because we have changed the, so this is updated and this is updated. Okay, and update article. Right now just ignore these errors, but if we go to the database and browse, it was 16th. Okay, let it be countable in online 14. Oh, this is not
You haven't yet created errors.
Which we can
Errors,
cause.
empty errors.
okay, we can just and if count record parameter must be an array or an object that implements countable in, try to access any array or set on variable. Okay, so maybe we have some problem here in the select all from articles. It's the line 14 count. The error was on line 16 Okay, the parameter is, we are not passing any name of the query parameter. So here, and AID is equal to this. This was missing actually. So let us redo it. Question mark page edit article, and AID is equal to 16. So let us change, update it again, title to update it, and to the description to update it to, and submit the article, update the article. So probably it has changed now, and if we browse the page, so you can see both the title and descriptions have been updated. For the record, 16. Is this fine? One more thing we can add, we will have a separate admin panel for all these records, but wherever we are outputting an article, for example, this is the article, sorry, where is the articles page? This one here. If I go to the browser, just articles.php, sorry, here, articles.php. What's the name of the file? What's the URL? And if I just change it to articles, it's not on the server. Article, okay, there is an L with it. This is the articles page. Okay, as I said, please ignore these errors. We will fix all these once we have done the whole application. So if I click on any article, and 61, and okay, the last one is updated. So we do have updated article, match this, but now, for example, I need to have with each article I need to have an edit link. With each article I need to have an edit link, and once I click on the edit, it should go to the edit form of that article, and I want it inside this, the left of it. Okay, these are just numbers. If you remember here in the articles the first section is okay, this is the left column. Okay, so here, for example, I need to have, this is just an li with a link. Okay, this is a link. So here we need to have another link. We need to have another link, or maybe some spam or whatever, but for now let us have another link inside this A. Now what is this here? For example, if I just make a dummy link here, what I can do is, it will be A href equals this, and inside the text I will use, here I will call it dummy link, and here the page will be whatever it is, .php. For now, let us just check if things are working fine. So I refresh the page. So in front of every article we have a dummy link. Okay, we have a dummy link at the end of the, and it is going to, and we can make it bold or whatever. So let us give some Talent class. What can it be? Class is equal to font dash bold. Sorry, a class is equal to and href is equal to this. Is this, why is it giving us some error? So like this. So if we just refresh it, the links are bold now. Is this okay? And we can have some space as well. So let us give some space to the link. So these are, so what I actually want to achieve is, right now this is just a dummy link, but if somebody clicks on this link, if they are logged in only, so we should be taking it to him to edit article page. And you already know all of this is in a loop. Okay, we are fetching the ID already. We are already using the record ID. So again, simple, we just need to change the page to, right now you know what it was, index.php question mark page is equal to edit dash article and ampersand AID is equal to now this record. Here, and again probably we need to concatenate it, or maybe it can get evaluated here, but we will love to concatenate it like this. Is this fine now? So if I, and but rather than the dummy link, here we need to have the edit article. So if I refresh the page now, this every article has the edit article link, and if you click on it, notice the URL, it is page is equal to edit, there's this, and it has its own ID 14. So rather than issuing the ID ourselves in the URL, now we can go to this page, for example, and if I need to change the 16 one, and if I click on the edit, so even here we have a mistake in the spellings, so you can do it now this way. So other than the users where we needed the ID, we took the ID from session, because we once you log in, you save the UID, user's ID in the session. We were taken in order to change the password and all, we needed to have an ID, and we were taking it from the session. But for articles or any other records, you can easily get it from the query parameter. So hopefully this is clear now. But there is one more thing. If even I log out and go to that page, there will be the edit link. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
How? Let me just demo. So if I go to this page again, let me just copy it so that I don't have to go, and I just issue the logout page. You are logged out, and if I access the page now, I'm still seeing this edit article. Okay, and if I click on the edit article now, I'm being able to access even the edit screen. So we need to do two things. If somebody remembers or knows the URL, even if they are not going from the edit screen, they can access it in the browser, and they will be able to So what we can do is we can use the same code we have used for add article at the start is logged in, and remember we had used this function, we have created this function, so we can just copy this code and move it to edit dash article at the top of the page like this. Okay, so if now if I just refresh the page, because it redirects it to why is it not working, this is function, because we are not including the functions.php page first. So we can do that with require includes functions.php, and we can do it in the articles page as well, so that all the pages which are getting included in the index page,
Index page.
will have this already included. Rather, let us do it in the index page, so that we don't always require this. And if I just refresh the page now, okay, edit dash article, what the error states is output arrays with class. Okay, so we already have output errors in maybe in this page somewhere. In functions on line 13. So we are in the index page.
Errors, I think, from functions page.
Maybe it is edit data. What's the URL? It is edit dash article. Okay, so you get the point. We need to include the function. Let us do it from edit dash article at the moment, because we may need some debugging. So let us just include it in the edit dash article for now. So we also need to start the session, because we are going to use the is logged in. So if this function is the session is started, and if the user is not logged in, it will be redirected to the login.php. So this is going to be index.php question mark page is equal to edit dash article and some AID is equal to 16. So now we are being redirected to this. But if I log in the same, and now if I access the same question mark page is equal to edit article and with an AID, so now we can access it. Ignore this error again, because we already have it in the index.php. So here now nobody who is logged in can edit our page, but we still will have, if I go to articles.php again, we will have edit here. If I click on any of this link, we are logged in, so we should see it, but if we are logged out, we should not see this. And as a proof, if I log out again and refresh the page, so we are seeing the edit article link. But if I click on any of these, what do you expect? Good, it will be login page because we are not logged in, but at least we are seeing the links. So how to hide these links? Anybody? If the user is logged out, we should not be seeing these links.
We should probably give a condition to that dummy link.
Exactly.
So if user is logged in, then we'll show that.
So we will go to the articles.php page where we made that edit article link, this one. Okay. And one easy way would be if I just make a variable out of it. Okay, just easy stuff. This is the link, this one. If I just copy it, good. Okay, so this is the link, all this extra link we have created, okay, up to here. And if I just copy it and create a variable, okay, yeah. So if I just create a variable, maybe edit is equal to this, like this, okay. So edit is equal to a bold, all this, okay. But if it is in the condition of is logged in, so here we need to include functions, because that function is dependent on require includes functions.php, like this. And now we can set a variable, and the function is logged in, right? Is logged in, like this. So if is logged in, here we can use or we can just quickly here, let us, this is the variable we are creating, okay. So if something, then this, and you can use all the ternary operators as well. So if is logged in, what does this mean? If you are logged in, yes, then you should create the edit variable like this. Else it should be, edit should be null, or empty variable, like this, okay. Now this is dependent upon the logged in value, and here the concatenation which we have done, this one, we will now remove it all together, like this, and we will just add one more, and that is going to be edit. Is this okay now? So if it is if the user is logged in, it will show, but this we can improve this code as I was doing it, we are running this function again and again in the loop. So if we just set up a variable here at the top of the page, if is logged in, so $sign logged in is equal to true. So now we have run this function only once, and we are setting this logged in variable. So here we will not be running the function again, we will just be checking if logged in is equal to true. So now it's just the usage of variable values. So hopefully it will be working. Now we don't see any edit link, but if I in the other browser, if I just log in, and it's Wasim Khan, and if I refresh the page, what are you expecting? It's not working. It means there is something in the code. So let's check. If is logged in is equal to true. If is logged in, so edit is equal to this. Any guesses? Session underscore, we should have it in some include file as well, so that we are not always doing it on each page. Okay, and this will be part of the improvement class we will have. So now if we refresh the page, we have the edit, but if we log out and refresh the page, there is no edit link now. Okay, so what we have studied today, we have been able to use update queries based on updating records we have from PHP. So we also changed the register records as well as the title and description in the articles. Do you want to continue or for delete? Okay, so now we will move on to delete. And let me, for example, and again the same ID concept, just like edit. If I want to delete this 6 number record, what I can do? Delete from, the table name is articles. If I don't issue where, all the records will be deleted. So again here is the ID is very important. So where AID equals 6.
What is the difference between drop and delete?
Drop will drop the table actually, and truncate is deleting all the records. Okay, so delete from articles where AID is equal to 6. So if I go to browse, there won't be 6 number article. Okay, but if you just skip the ID, so remember all the records will be deleted. That's very dangerous. So you need to issue the ID always. Okay. The same thing we want to do from the PHP page now. So if you have a parameter in the query, you will grab that and use the delete statement, so that we can record or delete. We can delete a record. So how we can do this is, we will do it for articles. Okay, so let me create a file called delete.php. sorry, delete article. Delete dash article dot php, right? And I will go that route again, simply just to if we have an ID of an article in the URL, we will be deleting that article only, okay? But here for example, I just print some statement. Do you want to delete this article? Question mark. And if I just access delete dash article.php for now, delete dash article.php, so it says, do you want to delete this article? Basically it will have an ID of the article, okay? So ID is equal to say 16. So here we will be deleting that 16 number article. We should not be doing it in one step, because this is very dangerous. If somebody by accident just clicks on an article, delete, it will be deleted. So what you need to do is, you should first confirm it from the user that do you really want to delete this article, and if he says yes, then you will have to do it, okay? So what we need to delete, have it here. We need to have a form and then a button, yes, for example, okay? Or maybe input type is equal to submit, and value is equal to yes, okay? So now if we refresh the page, do you want to delete this article? So if somebody clicks on yes, only then you should be deleting it, otherwise not. And we already have this 16 in the query parameter. So what I want to do is, the form action should be delete.php question mark this, including the ID, okay? So the form should have an action which is this, including the ID, so that in the post request we have an ID as well. But if we make it to index.php question mark page is equal to delete.php, and we don't need to have this, and with ampersand. Now if I go to index.php page is equal to delete article, let me do it now. We should have it in index.php question mark page is equal to delete dash article, that's it, and ampersand, maybe AID is equal to 16, 15. So do you want to delete this article? And if I click on yes, only then it should delete this. So that code has to be inside this PHP $. Let me just quickly copy this code, post code, delete article, okay? Here if server request method is equal to post, it means the button has been submitted, the yes button has been submitted. Then here we need to grab the ID, this ID first. So the first AID is equal to $_get. We can have it in post as well with the technique of hidden fields, but for now this one is okay. So AID is equal to, this should be AID, and this should be, already we have then it should be $, or maybe let us move this outside of this code here. So if this is set, AID will be this, otherwise none. So here the ID is, it should be dynamic, so AID, and this is HTML, so we should have an opening PHP tag here and echoing this as well. Okay, so once the form is submitted, it will be, the all the values will be here. Okay, but we are already we already have the AID here, so we can use that. $video prepare. Okay, now here which SQL will be used? Delete. Okay, so delete from articles where AID is equal to $AID, like this, and it should be returned as some string, a statement or query or whatever. Okay, the next is this AID should be this AID. Okay, so query execute and $AID, sorry, this is going to be an array, $AID $AID, like this, right? And it doesn't need any fetching, so it will already be executed, it will be executed. So delete from this where AID is equal to this. So for example, if I go to article 15 now, and it says, do you want to delete this article? And if I click on yes, what are you expecting? This code to run. So yes, yeah, it has been redirected to the guest. But if I go now to articles, was it 15 or 16? 15. Okay, so maybe we have some error. Suppose this query video prepare AID is equal to, yeah, but we are already including it inside the index.php here, session start as well. Okay, so if server request is post is equal to yes, and maybe we had not refreshed the page, or question mark page is equal to delete the article and AID is equal to 15. Let me just check the action. So this is working fine, and value is this. Okay, if is set, is this AID or just ID? Delete dash article and person AID is equal to 15. Method is equal to what? we are missing the method in form.
Yes, sir. Method is already post.
So if I refresh the page now, if I click on yes, so something has happened. We are again on the same page, and if I just refresh the articles, so hopefully 15 has gone. Okay, so we have done it in 2 steps. If you go to the delete page first, you can use JavaScript in future as well for this. Do you want to confirm, and then yes, it can come directly here, but at least we are showing a form first step. And once that form is submitted via the yes, then this code runs. Initially this code doesn't run because the form method is not post,
Yes, sir.
button has not been clicked. I have a question. Now if I come to, for example, 16, and I am just showing, do you want to delete this article? But if I want to just show, do you want to delete this article, and I want to show the title also, the title of the article.
Yes, sir.
And right now I just don't know what the title of the article
Yes.
is. What should I do?
Sir, we will have to select that from the
Title,
database
title.
and run the selection query.
Exactly, because we already have 16 here.
Yes, sir.
We have one value of AID already in the query parameter, so we can use it to our advantage. We will query the database with and showing just a title for 16 number, whatever is, and show it here.
Yes.
And then if the yes is clicked, it will delete it. So basically what I wanted to say was that the usage of these query parameters is very important in web application development. Okay, good. So that's all. We did some part of the CRUD today, update and delete, and see you tomorrow for the rest of the course. Thank you, inshallah.